What's up, world? Uko here from Better Therapy. Now, how I structure an individual therapy session. Number one is what I don't do, and that is I do not have an outline of what we're going to talk about for the day. I used to do this in the very beginning, especially when I was an intern. I would structure individual therapy sessions as if I was a teacher at an elementary school, like laying out the curriculum, but I don't do that. The very first thing I do is just give them a greeting and ask them how they're doing because I want to see where they're going to take the session, if there's anything kind of like boiling on their mind. And I always let them lead everything. And I see the entire session as if we are on an adventure, like an exploration of the person's mind. And I'm just a guide, but they're the ones that are really driving everything. The second thing that I do is I do mood checks throughout the session. I start off after I greet them, we talk about whatever we talk about in the very beginning. And if it doesn't go anywhere, I do a mood check and I just simply ask them, how do you feel? 0 being that you feel really stressed out or you feel really depressed, and 10 being that you feel really good, or maybe the reverse. But I do some sort of scale, like a Likert scale mood check, and I do it at 3 different parts. In the very beginning, after I do the check-in, sometime after we talk about whatever initial topic, whether they're talking about a relationship or something going on at work, at the end of that, or maybe even during it, I'll do a quick mood check, and then I do a mood check at the very end. And I want to kind of both of us to see something. I want to try to track where their mood is going during the conversation after they talk about certain distressing or even like positive events. And then I also want them to see how their mood can fluctuate based off of what they're thinking about and what they are talking about. After that, the third thing is an intervention if it's necessary. If we do like some sort of exercise, or in very rare cases, there'll be a worksheet involved. I'm definitely not a worksheet type of therapist, but some type of activity can be good, whether it's like a breathing activity or a journal writing activity, or just kind of like a silent reflection activity. But some type of activity will be kind of the third thing if it's necessary. Sometimes me and a client will get into a conversation and start talking about something that lasts the entire session. But if it doesn't, I want to identify or maybe reflect on certain weaknesses or certain areas that they want to improve in, and do it, and then do an exercise that helps them with that thing. And then in the very end, I do give like homework and assignments, but it's never like written things and it's never reading uh, types of assignments. I don't like when the therapist is like, oh, because I've done therapy in the past, they've been like, oh, read this book or read this chapter or watch this video. I never give anything like that. My homework is always reflective. Like, think about this, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Or see if you notice when you feel this way and try to remember how that feels. And then or remember the details of that moment, and then we'll talk about it. I want the homework to be very natural and intuitive. And then I kind of make a note about what the homework was, like what the thought experiment was, or what I want them to reflect on. And then we kind of pick up there, or maybe revisit that if in this next section we hit either a wall, or there's not a whole lot going on, or a similar theme comes up that makes that relevant. But in the end, I do ensure that every session I talk about the homework or the reflection assignment that I mentioned or assigned in the last session. And that's how I kind of conduct an individual therapy session. Very simple, I try to make it flow very smooth and make it very conversational. I'm Uko from Better Therapy Now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.